that my internet is wackadoo tonight. Everybody cross your fingers. I've got some notes, lots of different things. So, you know the drill. Welcome to Live with Heidi Mine. I'm going to check that the live is up on Facebook and YouTube. So if you have not already gotten your favorite beverage, go ahead and grab that before we get started. Okay, I've got all kinds of things going on. While I am checking Facebook and YouTube, just letting you know, tonight I am going to be talking a little bit about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Cyber Week, cyber sales for my own small business. I can only talk to my own small business, but you know, it's a whole thing. And I can kind of say, like, I know that a lot of people are feeling sales are down right now. So let me, okay, mute. It looks like I am live. Perfect. All right, so let me, oops, I forgot to bring up my script before I did the thing. So I want to talk a little bit tonight about the whole like cyber sale situation, my own, and then things that I've kind of heard within some of the Etsy groups that I'm in, or small handmade business groups, because some people don't sell on Etsy, they sell on other platforms. And then I have a couple of updates, and yeah, I don't know if I'm going to try to keep it short. We have not had dinner yet tonight. I got a new panini press. I'm really excited about it, and I will let you know about that in some other video. So, to get started, what is up, homies? I'm Heidi. I'm a work-at-home handmade business owner at HeidiMine.com, as well as a homeschool mom of 11-year-old and 13-year-old girls. I go live on Facebook and YouTube on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. During the live, I share about things going on with my business, homeschooling, and sometimes our personal lives. Be sure to follow on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when I post videos or when I go live, and feel free to like or hit the thumbs up button, as this helps more people just like you see the videos and come hang out. If you are joining me live tonight, please go ahead and comment with hashtag live, or if you are watching the recording, comment with hashtag replay. This lets me know when people are watching and if I need to change up my times or my days. And if you aren't already subscribed, be sure to check the pinned link to sign up for the email list for updates about new products, blog posts, sales, and other fun things going on. I have not sent out an email in quite some time. That will be changing soon. I used to send out emails on Mondays and Fridays. Usually Monday was just kind of a, like, this is what's going on with my business kind of thing. Or during the week, if there were events that maybe you want to celebrate. It's very non-salesy. And then on Fridays, if I have a sale or if I have new products, I would usually post those or send an email out for that. So I will be doing those, and then I'm going to start sending out emails on Wednesdays to remind people about the live, because I think that's just something that I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch back over to my chats, and I can tell my mom forgets every single week that I go live, and she is messaging me, but I have my notifications off, so I will get back to her in a few minutes. Speaking of my mom, she dropped by today, and she had an appointment that was close by, so she just popped in for just a minute, and she found some DVDs for me, because I don't really watch a lot of TV. I love to rewatch the same movies over and over and over again. One of the movies she picked up for me is Time Bandits. This is, I want to say from the 70s. It could have been from the 80s. Does it say? Well, this says it was 1999, which I know that is not accurate. I am not sure what year this came out. I know that I watched it as a little kid. It's really, really trippy. It's got a bunch of dwarfs in it. That's the DVD picture. So they time travel and they bump into this kid and they take him on this adventure, and it's a little bit dark. So I don't know that I would recommend it for children, although obviously I saw it as a kid. It is PG. It's just really weird. And I think the strangest part is the end. As a child, it left me with a lot of questions, like a lot of questions. So if you've ever watched it before, put a comment, tell me what you think. And if you do end up watching it, then, you can come back here and leave a comment and tell me what you think about the ending, if it left you with more questions than answers. The other DVD that she bought me, we were just talking about this a week or so ago, is Sweeney Todd. It is the Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. Is this? Yeah, Tim Burton. I love Tim Burton. I do love Helena Bonham Carter. My cat is about to knock over my camera. I apologize. She's not supposed to be in here right now, but my cats are kind of punks today. Hopefully she doesn't knock this down. And I'm going to keep looking over because she wants to sit on something she's not supposed to be in here for. So anyways, I love this. It's dark and it's a musical and it's just a lot of fun. So I told my mom we would watch it soon. I'm trying to keep an eye on that cat because I have things very precariously positioned in my sewing room right now. And she's going to just be, yeah, not working well with me tonight. So, I'm going to call this the Cyber Week slump. Not every small business owner is doing poorly this year. There are a lot of small business owners, small businesses that are doing fantastic. I'm sure there are tons of big box stores that are also doing fantastic, but they can afford the advertising. But in some of the Facebook groups that I'm in, there have been a lot of complaints, especially about Etsy and the slow sales. And this has been a thing all year. People have been complaining about slow sales through the year, myself included. But Cyber Week, you really would expect for sales to be better. And for me in particular, they were not great. I watch a couple of other shops and I know that there were other shops that were doing fantastic, better than I would have even been able to handle. So I'm so excited for them. One of my friends is an Etsy shop owner. She sells some similar items that I do. And she also sells some things that are different. And her business is pretty booming the last week. And I could not be more ecstatic for her. I know that in the small business world, and especially with Etsy, everybody's so concerned about copying. There really is enough of a market for everyone, in my opinion. And if you're providing good customer service, if you're doing the things you need to do, then that's where you're getting your business. But I think that we should celebrate every shop that does well, because if a shop does well, that means that we have the potential to do well as shop owners. So I never hold it against people for doing well. Sometimes I get frustrated because the things that I have learned through coaches and gurus and whatever and experience tells me that some things should not be working for these shops. Not talking about my friend, but talking about some of these other shops that are doing well. I don't understand where their business is coming from. But at this point, the economy is what it is. And if they are making money, I am ecstatic for them. I celebrate that. I think it's wonderful. And I think that any other small business owner should do the same. One thing, if anybody is hanging out with me tonight, one of the things that kind of stood out to me in the last week was how many emails is too many. One of my business coaches talks a lot about sending enough emails, and especially during times of sales and Black Friday, big, big, big. You've got Black Friday, you've got Small Business Saturday, and then you have Cyber Monday. And I know that there's other things kind of mixed in and sprinkled around those, but those are very big for retail. So when it comes to marketing, obviously people need to be putting things on their social media, which I did not do. I just got too busy. Going away was a lot this year. And I did not send any emails, but my coaches are like, it's not just one email. You've got to send multiple emails, multiple days, multiple times a day. And I was sitting on hold on Monday when I was home from our trip, and I'm trying to get things cleaned up, and I'm going through my emails, and I get a lot of emails in general, which is fine because actually emails are a part of training for me. I like looking at emails from other companies to see what aspects they're using that I like and what I might use in my own. But I had so many emails. I had thousands of emails I have multiple email accounts. I have a personal account, a business account, an account for our homeschooling. I like to keep things very separated. My homeschooling, all the emails. I was going to say my homeschooling and business, but my personal account as well. They were so full of all of the small business Cyber Week stuff, multiple times a day, multiple days in a row, before the sale, during the sale, after the sale. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I know that most coaches will tell you that somebody has to see your products like 7 times before they're going to actually purchase from you. But to be honest, I unsubscribed from so many different people during that time because nothing they had for these cyber sales was actually anything I would want. So that got me a little bit discouraged in some ways, but I'm curious, did you feel like you had an abnormally larger amount of cyber sale emails this year than in other years? Maybe I was just watching it a little bit more. It was a lot though. It was a lot. Something basic, I just jotted down notes because I didn't want to go off a script. When you do zero marketing, you get zero sales. That's not always the case. Sometimes you can do zero marketing, and for whatever reason, people find you in the large space that is the internet. I did zero marketing this year and I got zero sales. I did not make any sales on my website or my Etsy shop this year. And actually my back end stats were horrible. They were non-existent. I didn't even hit like double digits of views for these things. And that's fine. It's not like I didn't expect it because, again, I didn't market. And if I'm not putting myself out there with shiny special deals, I don't expect people to just know that I'm around. I did do some sales for my website and for Etsy. I need to work on my website a little bit with how it does sales, because I don't think that it was prominent enough for people to know that there was a Black Friday sale going on, or Cyber Week sale, however you want to call it. Generally for the Cyber weekend, I do a starting off at 15%. And then if you buy $30 or more, it's 20%. And if you buy $50 or more, it's 25%. That 25% should have gotten me somewhere in Etsy's advertising, but I don't feel like it did. And I'm guessing that because I did a tiered structure of discount, that it didn't trigger the algorithm for Etsy to pick me up. And that's fine. It's really not a big deal. I was very busy with Thanksgiving stuff, so it is what it is. I know what I need to do. I have made sales during Cyber Weeks before, and I will do better next year. Some of the things that were a little surprising and possibly frustrating is that Etsy during Cyber Week, now generally what they do is they tell shop owners to start a couple days early and end a couple days late. So they really want you to have your shop on sale for about 10 days, 7 to 10 days. I think a lot of coaches would talk that down. It's not a great idea. Who knows? When I pulled stats from my shops, I did pull it for approximately 10 days. I wrote down the days of Thanksgiving for 2017 to this year, and I wrote down my total net sales from the 20th to the 30th of November for each of those years. I have those stats because I do my own bookkeeping, and I was able to look them up. So I'll talk about those in just a few minutes. But Etsy's banner, because it's not specific, if you just go to Etsy.com, it's not specific for any particular shop. It's just Etsy's website. They had a banner that said up to 60% off for these cyber sales. How is that possible? Unfortunately, that gets back into the gray area with Etsy about mass-produced products that are coming from overseas. There is literally no way for I'll pull back on that. I could definitely sell things for 60% off. I would either need to increase my prices a lot, or I would just have to say it's something I'm never going to make again, and I'm drastically reducing it just to get rid of it. So there are shops that could legitimately have had handmade items for 60% off for either of those reasons. But Etsy also, the guy that runs it, apparently, he's also trying to tell people that because you're cutting out the middleman, that you're going to get your handmade items for a better deal by coming directly to Etsy. That's not accurate, sweetheart. Clearly, the people running Etsy have never actually had an Etsy shop. I'm not going to speak to whether or not they've ever made anything with their own two hands. I would doubt it. I would question it. But I don't know. I guess if you're doing a digital product, sure, you could offer 60% off. You could offer 75% off. You could be selling things for pennies on the dollar. It's a digital product. You have already put in your time. You've already put in your labor to work on the computer. So essentially you're always making profit after you've worked off the amount of time you've spent on it. For me, every time I make a product, it's new labor for each item. So that doesn't factor into these larger sales quite as well. And I can't make a purse or a keychain or any of the things that I make and then try to be competitive with something like Amazon or something that comes from overseas because they're being made in a factory, possibly by humans, possibly by machines, but there's a whole process. It's completely different. So I'm a little disappointed that this person said what he said, because Etsy is the middleman. Etsy charges their fair share of fees, including advertising, and that trickles down to the shop owner. So Etsy, you need to do better. You need to do a lot better. The point of shopping handmade is to get something unique, to get something that's a little bit custom, to get something that you can show support for your fellow community. It's not about getting the best price or the best deal all the time. Etsy also, I think it was on Cyber Monday. It could have been on Sunday, but I think it was Cyber Monday, that they did a 24-hour promo of $5 off. I think it was like save 5 off of 30. I think that's what it was. They did not give the shop owners any notice, so we could not advertise to our customers. I know that I got emails from Etsy saying that it was happening as it was happening, but if I was doing any marketing to my customers, I couldn't give them any heads up notice. It was not brought to any of our attention prior, which would be a good thing, because, you know, if we've got our shop on sale and we're marketing to our customers like we should be, and we're bringing in those customers, that could help a sale. I don't know. It's a thing. My love for Etsy is diminishing. It will always be a good traffic source for me, but other than that, I really don't expect to ever make a livable wage with an Etsy shop. And for anyone that's making a livable wage on Etsy shop, good for you, more power to you. I doubt you're doing completely and totally handmade, but call me out if you want. I'm all good with it. So I did look up previous Cyber Week sales, and what I found. So all of the data that I pulled is from the 20th to the 30th of November for any of these years, 2017 to, it's really 2017 to 2021, because I was not open in 2022, and I just said I didn't have any sales this year. So in 2017, Thanksgiving fell on the 23rd, and net I made $991.09. Now, I made a lot more for the whole month, and of course I made money in December. But for those 10 days, I made approximately, what is that, $100 a day? I don't know if there are any additional things that needed to be taken out of that. The spreadsheet I have is older, and I was really trying to pull these numbers a little bit quickly. So I don't know if there were cancellations in there that maybe I didn't pull out yet, but that was approximately it. That was actually my best year on Etsy for Cyber Week. The following year, in 2018, Thanksgiving was on the 22nd. And during that 10-day span, I made, all of these numbers are going to be net, $576.70. So not quite $50 a day, a little over $50 a day. But that's not a lot when you think about it. It's really, really, because that's net. So it's less the fees that, some of the fees that Etsy charges, but that includes what I made on shipping. It doesn't include what I paid on shipping, and that doesn't include any materials. This is just net for Etsy. So they took out like tax and what is it? Tax and processing fees, I believe. I don't know if it included all the other fees. Maybe I'll be more organized next year and I can do a better example. In 2019, I had 2 shops. I had Stuff and Junk by Heidi and I had Wicked Widow Designs. I only made 1 sale in Wicked Widow Designs during that 10-day period. Thanksgiving was on the 28th that year, and I considered pulling data further out into December, but I really didn't have that many sales into December. So I only pulled the 20th to the 30th. I made $396.55. I do think that the smaller amount is because Thanksgiving came much later. I think that people did start shopping a little bit earlier, so that could have impacted my numbers. I did not pull all the numbers for November and or December, so I do think that played a little bit of a role. In 2020 was a fantastic year for online sales. Not necessarily for me. Again, I had the 2 shops. Thanksgiving was on the 26th, so still a little bit later in the month. I only made 1 sale in my Wicked Widow shop, and I made $496.86. So just under $500. 2021, Thanksgiving was on the 25th, and I had the 2 shops. I did have almost equal sales in both of them, which is not saying a lot because I only made $201.26 that year in that time. So that's pretty abysmal when you think about it. I would have to go back and maybe I'll do a follow-up next year and I'll dig a little bit deeper and see what kind of advertising I was doing for Black Friday and Cyber Week and whatever. I don't think I had an email list, and I possibly had an email list going in 2021, but before that I did not. I was doing Facebook and Instagram, and I would throw some things on Twitter because I don't understand Twitter, and so it would just go to the ether, and I don't know if anything ever came of that. I did post to Pinterest quite a bit, but not as much as I was primarily Facebook and Instagram at that time. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. This year has been a little bit eye-opening for me as far as my business, because I really thought I was going to be more on board with running my business the way that I had been planning to in 2022, and it really just didn't come together. My timing didn't come together. My plans to get things done did not come together. That's a me problem. That is not a Etsy problem. So hopefully 2024 will look up for me. If I can get the things done that I need to. Because you can see behind me, I still have these, I think I talked about these almost a month ago, these little zipper bag panels, and I have not done a single thing with them. I should have, but I haven't. So it's just a matter of getting a little bit more organized. We're still trying to clean a lot of stuff in the house and a lot of things in the sewing room. For some reason, I don't have as much storage in this new space, and that has been a little bit frustrating. So the only other things that I had written down about things that I noticed was competitive pricing versus undercutting and how seasonal sales factor in. When I make a product, I do a lot of research for not only before I even make the item, but after I make it, I do a lot of research for SEO so that I can write good content for my product, but also for pricing. And I think that's a big part of where a coach comes in. I do wish I had known a little bit more about coaches when I first started, because I think that business coaches can be important to how a shop runs or how you learn to run your shop. When I first started my business, I really came from the perspective that if I wasn't going to pay for it, then how could I charge someone else? So it was very much that, well, I know how much felt costs. I wouldn't pay more than X amount of dollars for a mask for my own kid. So how can I ask that of a customer? And then I started finding different coaches and different small businesses that assist with my business, like accounting businesses. There are some really great CPA and accounting small business women that are sort of like coaches, and they explain that you not only do you have to charge for your time, because believe it or not, we really should be making at least minimum wage. You also have to account for what you're using. So for my business, obviously, I have my sewing machines. I have to account for the electricity, for the thread, the stabilizers, all the little parts that you don't think about when you're pricing out your products, but also the wear and tear on the machines, the maintenance on the machines, any parts that might have to be replaced, the electricity to run the machines, the electricity to run my computer, the internet so that I can do my research, list the items, take my pictures, edit my pictures. There are so many little things that go into running a business, and you will find that there are so many small businesses that are trying to compete with big box stores by offering what they think is competitive pricing, when really what they're doing is undercutting other small businesses. I like to keep my pricing right in the middle, but I have found, especially over the last year, that I tend to run a little bit on the high side of the middle of the road pricing. And sometimes I feel like maybe I should reduce that. But if I bring my pricing down, I can't offer sales because I'm already giving you the bargain basement price. And some people will only shop sales. So then I've cut off my nose to spite my face. But also, I'm worth what I charge. I am good at what I do. I've done this for a very long time. I have finally built up the confidence to be able to say that, to be able to say I am worth what I charge. So I don't plan to lower my pricing anytime soon. I will offer sales, and if some people only want to shop from me during a sale, that's fine. But I have always had plenty of customers that have come back to me for regular priced items because they know that I am a stickler for quality and that I stand behind my work. I just had a customer contact me from 2020 that purchased items from me, and they were a repeat customer in 2020. They've purchased from me a few times, and then I closed my shop, and they contacted me again to see if I would make some things that I no longer offer. And for them, I'm going to do it because they're a repeat customer. But for other people, I probably wouldn't. Sorry. So I do think that from what I was seeing online, I was watching certain shops on Etsy, and if they had more competitive pricing and they were offering a sale versus if they were already the lower end of pricing and they weren't offering a sale. And I did notice the people that are higher priced and offering the sale were getting more sales than the people that were lower priced overall. So you really have to watch where your market comes from to see if they're going to continue to shop from you. And if they're always going to look for it, don't get me wrong, I shop at the Dollar Tree, I shop at Walmart, I will shop a bargain every which way. But I also know when to go and purchase something that is more quality and it's going to cost me more. I know I've talked about my Pampered Chef items. I don't sell Pampered Chef anymore, but I did for a while. And I would buy things on sale, but I would definitely buy things full price from Pampered Chef. I still have them 20 years later. They're in great condition. I love them. I love my kitchen things. So sometimes you have to look at that. You have to look at, as a business owner, are you trying to burn yourself out and just make all the pennies you can? Or are you looking to make relationships with these customers because you have something to offer them that feeds a fire in them? And that's where I want to be. I don't want to just sell a bunch of stuff. I want to make things that when someone purchases it from me and they use it and they look at it later and they feel like, oh, not only do they see me in it and they see that handmade item, but they feel more like that's a part of themselves as well. So, getting all philosophical with ya. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is, about like this whole thing, just because I did start to talk a little bit about coaches, is how to choose a business coach. I had no idea that business coaches were a thing for small business. I knew a little bit about small businesses. I've worked for mom and pop shops for quite some time. I worked for a bridal shop that was owned by a woman locally to where I live. I worked for my father for a long time after I had worked for other companies. So I saw a lot of the behind the scenes of how the bookkeeping is done, the inventories, the things that aren't so pretty. So I thought when I started my own business that I really had a better handle than someone who just starts making things and throws them online. But I would definitely say that if you are considering a small business, or if you feel like you're doing a small business and you're floundering, find yourself a business coach. It does not have to cost you a lot or any money, actually. There are some great coaches out there that can really help you out. After these videos render, after the lives render and they're static on YouTube and Facebook, I will go ahead and add some links because there are some amazing people that will do coaching, or that do a little bit of free coaching. Pam Duthie, one of the managers of eRank, I watch a lot of her videos every week because she does give a small glimpse of Etsy news, and that way I don't have to dig through and try to decipher all of the Etsy emails. I can listen to her while I'm doing the dishes. I can listen to her while I'm cutting something out, whatever. I can hear what she's saying while I'm doing something else. I feel very productive. She has a very relaxing voice, so even when she's giving you not so great news, you still just have to love her. So I will put that in there. Again, she is a manager for eRank. eRank is I think they have a free option, but when you can afford it, it is something great for Etsy businesses, even handmade online businesses. You can kind of use it for other things, but primarily for Etsy. I do use that tool myself, and I do pay for it. Starla Moore, if you are specifically an Etsy business, she's a fantastic business coach. Not only does she have a ton of free content on her channel, she is a former Etsy, I shouldn't say former, she does currently have an Etsy shop. She just reopened another shop. She had one for a while and then she became a coach and then now she's back at it again. But I think it's print on demand versus her original shop. She was actually hand making jewelry. So her role has changed a little bit, but she's very busy. She is also a manager at eRank, and she does have a paid course called the Handmade Alpha Academy, which I purchased last December, when it opened up. I can't remember when it opened up last year. But I do believe she is opening up enrollment for that. I think it's the December 1st through the 10th. But you can check the links. I'll put them down there. These are not affiliate links. I do not get paid to say this. These are my own experiences. I do watch Pam. I do watch Starla. I appreciate the job that they do for free. And it obviously convinced me to pay for their other services because I trust what they say. I love the fact that Starla and her husband Mark are very no nonsense. There is some tough love that happens, and I appreciate that. I don't want someone to candy coat things for me. But I don't know. I just think they're amazing. I think they do a great job. From what I've done in Handmade Alpha, it's even after having an Etsy shop for over 10 years, there's so much information that they have put into that course that I didn't even think about. So I think it's well worth it. And I know they have a payment plan, but again, you can see all that on their site. And then just for, as a business coach for any kind of business, whether you are a handmade business, a course creator, a coach, whatever, I have been following Stacy Storino for quite some time now. I want to say since at least 2018. Could have been 2017, but at least 2018. I have been following her. I've been paying for her courses. She does have her main course now. She used to work with a different coach and she had a bunch of mini courses, and she has discontinued sale of those and just done one big course, which is fantastic. It is called Funnel Dynasty. Again, I am not pitching this. I purchased it myself. I don't get any kickbacks. I don't get any affiliates, none of that stuff. I'm just saying, if you're looking for good coaches, these are some people that I follow. They all offer free content. They all have YouTube channels that offer free training that runs across the board. Stacy does not teach about Etsy shops, but she does teach about advertising, social media, email lists, that sort of thing. And there is so much information. She did have to take a little break over the last year. There's quite a bit of content for 2023, but it wasn't as consistent. But I believe she's getting back to business for 2024, and she is gearing up for a whole lot of new content, which is fantastic because she's amazing. So if you can't afford the courses, at least check out the free content. I would also just throw in Renee Christine, her older content for Etsy and websites and like email lists, advertising, that sort of thing. It's a mixed bag. She stopped her business in 2020. No, 2022. 2022, she really had to step back and close down. But there's still, on her channel, there's still a lot of information that you kind of have to dig through, but there's still a lot of relevant information there. So, you know, if you don't like I think she went into like homesteading, and it wasn't particularly my cup of tea. But I would watch them sometimes. She's a funny woman. I think she's taking another little break. Some things weren't really going in her favor recently, but you know, um, I think that it's important to support other small businesses and especially other small business owners. And if they had information or have information that is helpful, whether it is about being an Etsy shop owner, a small business owner, how to advertise, you really do well to check out their free content, see if it works for you, see if your personalities mesh. And then you can start looking at their paid content. That's how I had to do it. There are certain coaches that I may have watched once or twice and I never looked back because something about their personality, I feel like a sneeze is coming. Excuse me. Yes, sometimes with coaches, the personalities just don't mix well with me. I don't like people that promise a whole lot of things because they're not the ones that are going to be on the hook to deliver later. I am. So those are just a few of the coaches. I've mentioned them previously in other videos. I think that some people find this time of year is where, things hit the fan and they start looking at their options. So if you are looking at handmade businesses, check out some of those coaches, check out some of the things they say, see if that's what works for you. And if they don't, that's okay. There's plenty of other coaches out there. Just, be careful not to buy the snake oil because that's a thing. So yeah, I mentioned I got a new panini press. Ours was quite a few years old. It wasn't very good. It was a very cheap model and it broke and we've been waiting a while to replace it. And I just found a really good deal on Amazon. It's really cool. It says that like the plates come out so I can make waffles, or I swap the plates and it's the flat like iron kind of panini press, so I can do that. And it also folds all the way flat so I can use it as like a countertop grill. So tonight I'm going to be making my youngest daughter some paninis, and then my oldest daughter and I are going to have some hamburgers, and I am going to attempt making homemade French fries in the air fryer. So I don't know. I'm not going to record it because my kitchen's not recording clean right now. But if you're interested in how it turns out, leave a comment and maybe I will post something on social media, or I'll do a blog post, or I'll do an email or something. If you let me know you're interested, I will follow up. Okay? Okay. Let me bring up my script because now I can tell I'm getting hungry and I'm going to start talking all weird. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have not already, be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up, follow or subscribe, and comment with #live or #replay. All of these interactions not only help to push the video out to more people that will enjoy them, they help me know what content you are enjoying the most. I forgot to say that I'm going to be changing up some video schedules. The lives will be staying on Wednesdays, but I'll do some quick posts. So yeah, if you have not followed, be sure to follow or subscribe, because then you'll get the notifications when I start posting things about videos. The lives I'm going to keep doing through the end of the year. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a whole lot of other content. I do want to get the collectible Christmas finished up and posted, so that will be coming in December. But like the cook with me's, the clean with me's, and those things, those I will be picking back up in 2024. And I have some kind of ideas of where I want this channel to go. And I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. And honestly, if life is not fun, it's just not worth it. So until next time, I will